All right, let's start with our top story, which is in Ukraine. So if you happen to be an Al-Qaeda or ISIS terrorist, chances are you're not watching our show. Hopefully you're not watching our show. Well, if you happen to be, then NATO and Ukraine want you to come fight in Ukraine, and they'll pay you handsomely for it. We already knew this was happening, but in recent weeks it has actually accelerated because Ukrainian forces have been nearly decimated and wiped away, almost entirely eliminated from the battlefield. I spoke to Colonel Douglas Macgregor last night, who says the forces are almost gone. Listen.
As you point out, most of Ukrainians' best forces are gone. They've been killed or wounded. Ukrainians have lost roughly 100,000 dead, perhaps 2, 3, even 400,000 wounded.
Wow.
They started out with an army of 600,000. Remember, we spent 8 years building this army up with the express purpose of attacking Russia. That's what it was designed to do. That's why the Russians attacked it.
So, I couldn't help but thinking, and some people in the chat are saying this, like Uncle Sam wants you to join us in war. And that's like what I'm thinking when I picture basically the recruitment now for Al-Qaeda and ISIS terrorists in Ukraine. NATO wants you. They want your support, terrorists, to come and fight in Ukraine. So, of course, they need fighters who can become cannon fodder, as Colonel Macgregor was telling us last night. And so, in March of this year, the Cradle reported that Al-Qaeda and ISIS fighters were arriving by the busloads into Ukraine from northern Syria and passing through Turkey. Now, NATO has been paying these Al-Qaeda and ISIS fighters a few $1,000s a month. Just let that sink in for a moment. NATO has been paying these Al-Qaeda and ISIS fighters a few $1,000s a month.
Okay.
So, it probably warrants more than that kind of a response, don't you think? Think about this. As American taxpayers or European taxpayers, you are funding terrorists to go into Ukraine.
The same organizations that we funded wars to kick them out of places.
Right. Or that we lay claim to, we're fighting ISIS in these particular countries. That's why we need to be in Syria. Or That's why we need to be in Afghanistan. Or that's why we need to be in Iraq or have some kind of a presence. So you can't pay your heating bills right now, or your rent, but your tax dollars are going to fund Al-Qaeda.